For anybody that's considering using Swimmingly, what advice would you give them?
Especially for people who aren't as swim focused. See, I look at it a little differently than some. That's why I said it works well for those who are deep into the swim culture and those who aren't. I think it's a very easy product for somebody to be able to pick up and use.
Can you jog my memory? You guys have been using Swimmingly since 2017, is that right? Or
That
does
that that
back
that,
even?
sound- that sounds right.
Okay,
I,
awesome.
I I seem to remember at some point being told we were one of the early adopters. So
You definitely are. If you've been using it since 2017 for sure, which is great.
went through went through two different routers plus the non-router version. So
Yeah. Yeah, now you don't need the router at all anymore. So
exactly.
that's nice. We won't be sending you those in the mail anymore.
All right.
What system did you use before Swimmingly?
That was before I was really involved in the league,
Mhm.
but it involved a computer and a lot of paper and stopwatches.
Yeah, I
So
so it was all the manual side of things. So now you guys don't need to worry about that. Can you tell me about your role within the league?
well, as far as I'm the president of our swim board for our neighborhood, and then also I do pretty much all of the technology for our neighborhood team.
Mhm.
So polo fields, pretty much I do anything technology related. As far as the SFL board goes, we have a 2 year we have a job, 2 year we don't, but we're still on the board. It's an 8 team league. So there's four officers and then there's four non-officers and it rotates every 2 years. So this was my second year of not being an officer. The previous 2 years before this, I was president of the SFL.
For anybody that's considering using Swimmingly, what advice would you give them?
I think swimming, especially for people who aren't as swim focused,
Mhm.
shall we say? But even if they are swim focused, it still makes sense. I guess I need to give you a little more background about me. My daughter swims year round. She's a club swimmer and has been for the past 5 years. She's getting ready to start her 6th year, and I've been an official five of those, 4.5 of those. So I'm a USA Swim official, so I kind of know that side of things. So I look at it a little differently than some. That's why I said it works well for those who are deep into the swim culture and those who aren't.
What would you say your favorite thing, if you had to pick like one thing that Swimmingly does or one feature that it has, what's your favorite thing about it?
The ease of use for people who aren't dealing with swim every day. I think it's a very easy product for somebody to be able to pick up and use.
When you run your swim meets, what is the most overlooked detail that you find yourself educating your parents, swimmers, staff, volunteers, any of the people involved in the meet on?
Uh, the timers. There's a fair amount of education of the timers, um, because sometimes they forget to pick the team. If it's a do, we have fixed lanes, but then obviously if one team has a lot more than others, sometimes you end up with a different team swimming in your lane. So I sometimes have to reinforce that as far as, hey, you gotta go back and choose the swimmer. Um, that's probably the biggest thing that I do, often enough.
How long are your typical swim meets?
Um, our home meets are under 3 hours. I think the last home meet we did was 2 hours 45 minutes. We started at 6 and we're done by 8:45.
How many events is your
66.
66 events? Wow, that's awesome.
But we have restrictions on freestyle and backstroke. There's no restrictions on the number of swimmers.
That's still very very quick that you're able to do that. Do you do like any quick start features, like you have the swimmers get on the blocks before you start, or you guys just keep kind of rolling with the meet?
Some of the other teams don't have two swim officials helping run the meet. My wife and I are both we've both went all the way up to we're deck refs.
Okay.
So so we understand the process. The last USA meet we ran, we both finished ahead of the schedule. I knocked 19 minutes off in the session. She knocked 13 minutes off. So
So
we run it.
you
Yeah,
won you won the race.
we push it. Well, but we push it, and we don't push we're not running it so fast swimmers are missing their heats or anything.
Right.
But we're not letting there be a dead pool, even in summer swim. So